Right now, thousands of condo owners across Florida are opening their mailbox to find a bill for tens of thousands of dollars they never saw coming. Not a scam, not a mistake, a special assessment, sometimes running past $100,000 per unit, and it's completely legal. Some owners are going back to work in their 70s to pay it off. Others are selling at a loss just to get out. And the law that caused all of this was written to prevent something even worse from happening again. In June of 2021, a 12-story condo building in Surfside, Florida, collapsed in the middle of the night. 98 people died. When investigators went through what happened, they found years of deferred maintenance and a reserve fund that never had enough money in it to fix the concrete problems engineers had already flagged. Florida lawmakers responded by rewriting the rules for every condo building in the state, and as of this year, those rules are now fully in effect. Which means the bill for fixing decades of neglected buildings is landing, all at once, on people who had nothing to do with Surfside: retirees, teachers, first-time buyers, people who bought a condo in good faith and are now getting assessment notices for tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes just months after closing. Let's walk through what actually happened here, why it's hitting people so hard right now in 2026, and what it means if you own, want to buy, or are trying to sell a condo anywhere in the country, not just Florida. After Surfside, Florida passed Senate Bill 4D in 2022, it got updated a few more times since through Senate Bill 154, House Bill 1021, and House Bill 913. But here's the part that matters most for regular owners. As of January 1st, 2026, the grace period is over. Every condo building 3 stories or taller now has to fully fund something called a Structural Integrity Reserve Study, or SIRS. Here's what that actually means. In the past, a condo board could vote to keep monthly dues artificially low by skipping money that should have gone into a reserve fund for things like roof replacement, concrete repair, or plumbing. It made monthly bills look cheaper, but it also meant that when something eventually broke or an inspection turned up damage, there was no cushion. The building would have to raise a huge lump sum from owners overnight. That's a special assessment, and it's exactly what boards can no longer avoid because the law now says every dollar the reserve study says you need has to actually go into the account every year with no more waivers. On top of that, buildings that are 30 years old or 25 years old if they're near the coast have to pass a milestone structural inspection. If the inspection finds real problems, and in a lot of older buildings it does, the repair costs get folded straight into that same reserve requirement. So put those two pieces together. A law meant to prevent another Surfside also means that thousands of buildings that spent decades underfunding their reserves are now required to catch up in real time, whether or not the owners living there can afford it. Before you make an offer on any condo, you need to see this. I put together a full HOA buyer's due diligence guide covering California, Florida, and Arizona, the 3 states where HOA surprises hit buyers the hardest, and each one fails buyers in a completely different way. Florida's the SIRS and reserve waiver trap. California's the SB 326 balcony inspection and insurance crisis. Arizona's the quiet one. No law even requires a reserve study, so low HOA fees can actually be the biggest red flag in the room. Inside, you get 27 state-specific questions, the exact documents to request, real special assessment cases with real dollar amounts, and the 5-number health check that tells you if a building's financially sound before you ever sign anything. Links in the description, or scan the QR code on screen to grab it. Janet Stone spent 5 decades working as a teacher and school administrator. In 2021, she bought a condo on Florida's Atlantic coast for $400,000, expecting to enjoy a quiet retirement. Within a year, her association hit her with a $100,000 special assessment for concrete restoration and new windows on a building that was over 50 years old. She'd put most of her retirement savings into the down payment. She didn't have another $100,000 sitting around.
So she went back to work, teaching preschoolers with disabilities, and moved in with her son in another state just to keep making payments. She's told reporters that every paycheck she earns now goes straight toward that bill. She's not an isolated case. In Broward County, owners at a 567-unit building called The Summit got hit with a $56 million special assessment split across two towers built in 1982. Per unit, that works out to almost $99,000 on a building where the average unit sold for around $600,000. That's not a minor repair bill. That's roughly 16% of what the unit is worth, due all at once on top of monthly dues that were already north of 80 cents per square foot. At a waterfront building called Mariners Bay, all 46 owners are facing more than $100,000 each in combined fees and assessments. At another building on Brickell Key, one longtime resident described a $19 million assessment for a deteriorating pool deck and parking garage, plus 3 smaller add-on assessments, bringing their personal total to close to $40,000. By 2026, industry reports on Florida condos show assessments ranging anywhere from $20,000 up past $400,000 per unit, depending on the building's age, location, and how badly its reserves were underfunded before the law forced the issue. Here's why this matters, even if you've never set foot in Florida. It's not really a Florida story. It's a story about what happens when a building's true maintenance costs get hidden for years and then suddenly can't be hidden anymore. Every coastal state with aging condo stock has some version of this problem sitting quietly in older buildings right now.
This part doesn't get talked about enough, and it affects people who don't even live in a troubled building. In March of 2026, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the two giant institutions that back most conventional home loans in America, rewrote their condo lending rules. Reserve funding minimums jumped from 10% of the budget to 15%. They also eliminated something called the limited review process, which used to let smaller loans skip a lot of the paperwork about a building's finances. Now almost every condo loan gets the full scrutiny. What that means in practice, if a condo association doesn't meet these funding and safety standards, the entire building can get marked ineligible for financing. Not just one unit, the whole building. Once that happens, buyers who need a normal mortgage can't get one there. Fannie Mae doesn't publish this list publicly, so most owners find out their building is on it only when a buyer's loan falls through at the worst possible time. Right now, roughly 5,000 condo buildings, most of them in Florida, sit on some version of this restricted list. Think about what that does to a seller. You've done nothing wrong personally, but your building failed to keep its reserves funded, and now the pool of people who can even buy your unit shrinks down to cash buyers only. Cash buyers know they have leverage, so they lowball. Your unit's value drops through no fault of your own, just because the building around you didn't save enough money for a decade. By August of 2025, the median Florida condo sale price had fallen to $285,000, down about 8% from the year before. That was already the sharpest August decline in 15 years. Miami-Dade condo prices are now running roughly 10% below where they were a year ago. Statewide, condo values are down close to 10%, while regular single-family homes are holding up far better in comparison. Inventory tells the same story from a different angle. As of mid-2026, single-family homes in Florida sit at around 4 to 5 months of supply, which is close to a balanced market. Condos are running well above double digits in some markets, meaning there are simply far more condos for sale than there are buyers willing to take them. Days on market for condos are stretching past 100 days in a lot of buildings because buyers are now asking to see the reserve study and the last board meeting minutes before they'll even make an offer. Foreclosures are climbing too. Florida had one foreclosure for every roughly 2,000 housing units in the first quarter of 2026, up almost 78% from just a year earlier, putting the state third highest in the country. And insurance keeps compounding all of it. Florida's average homeowner's insurance premium runs around $7,000 a year for basic coverage, compared to roughly $2,500 nationally.
Insurers like Allstate's Castle Key subsidiary have pulled tens of thousands of condo policies out of the state entirely, pushing owners onto Citizens, the state-backed insurer of last resort, which now covers well over 100,000 condo policies on its own.
Put yourself in the position of a condo board right now. The law says you have to fully fund the reserve. If your building has been underfunding it for 20 years, catching up doesn't happen gently. You basically have two options: hit every owner with a lump sum bill they weren't planning for, or take out a bank loan and raise monthly dues for years to pay it back. Neither option is popular at a board meeting, and both show up the moment your building appears on a lender's radar, because a loan payment obligation looks a lot like a liability to anyone underwriting a mortgage for a buyer. That's the mechanism driving everything you've just heard. It's not that Florida's condo market randomly got worse, it's that a decades-long habit of underfunding maintenance finally hit a wall, and the wall is a law that no longer allows the can to get kicked down the road. Some relief has started to show up. Citizens Property Insurance recently announced a rate decrease of about 5.5%, a sign the insurance side may be stabilizing after years of increases. Lawmakers have also given associations a bit more flexibility on funding timelines, but none of that undoes the assessments that have already landed, and none of it changes the core math for a building that's still years behind on reserves. As of this summer, industry trackers following South Florida's condo market describe activity slowing further as the season winds down, both listings and pending sales trending downward for weeks in a row. A new project called the Condo Ratings Agency is set to launch later this year, specifically to track the financial health of individual associations. Because right now, buyers, sellers, and even lenders often can't easily tell which buildings are actually stable and which ones are one inspection away from a six-figure bill. For an owner like Janet Stone, none of this changes much day to day. She's still working a job she thought she'd retired from, still paying down her share of a concrete restoration project on a condo she bought expecting stability. She's one of thousands of people finding out that the monthly dues they were paying for years never actually covered the real cost of keeping their building standing.
The law that's causing all of this exists for a real reason. Nobody wants another building to collapse the way Champlain Towers South did. But the way the bill is arriving, all at once on people who had no say in decades of underfunded reserves, is turning a safety fix into a financial one. Whether the next couple of years bring real relief or just a longer runway before more of these assessments hit is still an open question. Right now, the reckoning is still working its way through the market, one building and one bill at a time. If you own a condo anywhere near the coast, this is worth watching closely, because Florida is very likely just the first state where this bill came due.